Urbana-Champaign. Before joining the faculty at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago in 1994, she taught at San Jose State University and the San Francisco Art Institute and the California College of Art.
So now, there's a long statement, right? There's a whole long statement. We're not going to read the whole thing. I encourage you guys to go back, because it's definitely important. This next bit of work is going to be kind of challenging. It's going to challenge you guys. Well, maybe not. So the project we're going to look at, she's a photographer, right? And a lot of her stuff deals with the human face. Actually, more specifically, pornography. Right? She actually lost, in this statement, it talks about her losing her very substantial NEA of Visual Artist Fellowship. A lot of money. It's even a lot of money, like $20,000, $50,000 on Craigslist. She lost that because of the content, the sexual nature of the comments. The artists, we don't deal with censorship. So you got to be doing some crazy stuff where the artists will say, or people get money, the artists will say, this is just too controversial. Okay? So we're going to talk about a project specifically called the Panhandler Project. And it's real important before we go into these that you kind of get a gauge for what's going on. Okay? Barbara the Genevieve. And I'm sure some images while she's reading. So you look at the images you get. Where it says Panhandler.
The Panhandler Project began about a year after a student of mine decided to create a body of work involving the homeless. My immediate reaction was to warn him of the problems inherent in any undertaking involving a marginalized population, and to be careful of the language he used in talking about what he wanted to do when he spoke to the administrative people in the organization he had decided to work with. I automatically began protecting the homeless participants of the project by letting my student know there was a politically correct way to speak and behave when dealing with the homeless. Academics know what I mean. Politically correct conversation where nobody can possibly be offended. The conversation where the pronoun them is not to be used. The politically correct situation where we have to protect them, even though there is no collective them. And even though the idea of protection is in itself a remnant of rather odious colonizing attitudes. I was responding in the typical liberal, hypersensitive, white, academically correct modes that had been established over the past 30 years in parallel with politically correct language of feminism and identity politics. To make a long story short, my student returned to class after making initial contact, and the world as it really is came back with him. He related how they were and how others in the business of helping them talked about them. My PC sensibilities were not just shaken, they were exposed as being useless. Worse than that, I began to see this attitude in the language used to make its case was more dangerous to the people involved than whatever damage it was meant to prevent. Along with the language, for photographers, there is also the added responsibility of representation. How are marginalized homeless people to be represented? Just don't seem to be the current solution. Although I am well aware of the pitfalls in making a homeless person the subject of a photograph, the regulatory nature of the invective against doing so slows down pertinent discussions of agency in regard to race and class. Most problematic is the assumption made by many cultural and photographic theorists that this segment of the population is incapable of giving informed consent about the use of their language. It has become routine to denounce such images as exploitative and objectifying based on the predictable and unexamined delusion the art world and PC liberals like to entertain, that homeless and marginalized people everywhere are a protected class of victims. I don't believe academia is really interested in providing anything but the faulty logic of protectionist rhetoric that further marginalizes already marginalized people. This ethical and aesthetic dilemma provides the subtext of my recently completed Panhandler project, a series of photographs and video documentation of 5 male panhandlers from Chicago, all of whom are homeless and African Americans, who I asked to model for me nude. My process was to randomly meet the men on the street if they were willing to participate in the project. The compensation for spending the day with me was $100, lunch and dinner, new clothing, and a hotel room for the night. The hotel room was the location of the shoot. After the shoot, the model was interviewed and we discussed his reactions to the experience. The man then signed a model release and was left to spend the night in the hotel. In the morning, I picked him up, paid him in cash, took him to breakfast, and dropped him off wherever he wanted to go. Video documentation took place for the entire photo shoot and into the evening until I left the hotel. Even though my desire as an artist is to make the photographic images beautiful as works of art, they are actually only the byproduct of the process involved in the project. I'm much more interested in the video and the conversation, debate, argument that the two forms of visual representation have the potential to create. It is always easier to argue theoretically on either side about the abstract nature of representation and what images mean. However, my intent is to reconfigure the debate to include the subjects of the photograph and video who have become the objects of an argument that never directly involves them. Another subtext revolves around issues of class and race, the thorny problems that make most white folks crazy. Being educated, liberal, hypersensitive, and until about 3 years ago, determined to be politically correct, one of my biggest fears was saying or doing something that could be considered racist. In thinking about why I did this project, I found that I was interested in putting myself in situations in which I would have to confront my incorrect political correctness. I wanted to see if my fears and discomfort about sounding or even being racist in my assumptions and language had some fears and discomfort about sounding or even being racist. Oh, wait. And my assumption language had some real basis, or if it was fueled by the years of PC training I had undergone in academia. Thus my challenge, to create a work so serially politically incorrect that it causes, in fact, demands a response. Nudity in American culture, particularly male nudity, and in this case, specifically the nudity of African American men, continues to be a contentious issue. The height of exploitation and humiliation for many being the exposure of the naked body. This project directly confronts that notion through the production of video documentation and photographs of the 5 men I have asked to model me. I don't make any pretense to create a cross-section of the homeless population in Chicago. There are only 5 men and all are black. My intention is to trouble question issues of race and who is the appropriate ethnicity to do what to whom. I'm not trying to make a specific statement, but to create a situation in which the viewer is presented with a certain set of questions, some of which are ethical, others of which will obviously be personal to the viewer. The shots are highly sexually charged by nature of the male-female dynamic, but in the end, the situation is a business transaction. Money and goods in exchange for a professional service.
All right, which one we gonna watch first?
Professor,
I want to watch the,
why was this person photographing the homeless nude? That's what I don't understand.
Whoa. Save your responses.
How are you helping
Save your responses. We gonna watch them and then we're gonna talk about it. Right? So I want you to understand this. This is what we're doing right here. Once again, just to reiterate, what we're doing right here is the artwork. It's experiential. Watching the video, seeing the photograph. The photographs aren't the artwork. The experience, the thing that we're about to do, is the piece. That's why it's on this website. All right? Okay? So, okay, we want to start from the top, or what we want to do?
Yeah.
We'll get it like 3. We'll get that. We'll get that.
It's like a moving part. You know, just like all this I'm saying the other day, gotta be up on the screen. Oh my God.
Can you possibly look well, we were having such a good time all day. No? cool.
That's the artist photograph.
That's great. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's good. Bring this hand, give me the tissue. Bring this hand. Yeah, so you look comfortable. Oh.
I mean, showing him how to pose and everything.
Are you comfortable? Yeah.
And then got him on the couch like that. Oh,
It's your hotel room.
That makes you wonder.
Bring this hand about there. Okay, just relax. That's good. That's good. All right, now I don't want you're sort of leaning, and I just want you to, if you can brace yourself so you don't lean, that'd be great. All right, look in the camera, and give me one of those intense hand faces.
Smile?
Yeah, smile.
That's real nice.
That's hey.
Is this on, who's that? This on our CD?
This is on your CD. It's a link on the description. It's online.
Lord, have mercy.
Go on.
Just see the way. Oh, you see the light. And I ask you,
He likes it. He enjoying that.
that's what all you Caucasians like.
Did you hear
Okay, get back to where you were.
That's what all you Caucasians like.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, when
Oh my God, what is this putting on him?
I don't like that nerve. Everybody's a joke. Look, that's what makes life lovable.
stop. Hold it.
So that's what life is about. If you can't make jokes out of people, then what good is life?
Don't want them right in there. I want your legs over again. Put your squat down.
I didn't act it as hard. What kind of picture do you want? I mean, what do you want me to be? Serious, romantic, lovable? Okay.
Sexy.
Okay.
Maybe romantic.
You tell me what we can do, baby. I can afford anything out. Anything. You are so jealous. All humans on this earth are killable. There's nothing on this earth that any human out here will do.
Are you going?
Yourself.
Oh.
You better just say it. In my own way. That you don't need to go out that shit. You're trying to get this thing. Get away. Anyway.
Well, you're really gullible because you thought I was going to give you $100 for doing this.
You're gonna die.
What do you say?
But you got me on that one. I think
For a minute.
What did you say?
This about to get real up in there.
What did you say?
turn that off. The time is up.
So, we're gonna watch one more and then talk, and then if y'all wanna watch the last.
I wanna watch the
You wanna watch this?
No, I don't wanna watch it. Yeah, you guys don't. What is it? No,
So, friend Daryl